back one of the oldest counters in the book to the Renekton.
I love this because obviously it's a bit of a brick wall. Even if you fall behind and farm, you're going to outvalue. But the main reason I really like this is by taking the Braum.
But otherwise, feels like they are setting themselves up right for a game 2. So I'm hop onto the Rift. Now, wanting to make sure that they can clinch their spot in the playoffs, or at least hold on to their hopes, because they are out of contention with a loss here. Yeah. And B&K will have full control of their lives when they face off against T1. That is another fun story, as of course, if they were able to pick up a 2-0 against T1, and then KT are able to get a 2-0 against DK, then we could have another special telecom war tiebreaker.
That'd be great.
Before we get into a telecom war that's probably going to happen in our first round of playoffs to decide the side selection for game 1 of the telecom war.
The double whammy. The most telecom war possible. Oh, Bulldog.
Oh, Bulldog. It's going to take a bit of damage.
It's a good sweeper.
Let's not go back. And now he has to flash.
Yeah, just because the sweeper times out doesn't mean they're no longer in the brush. The Aurora being disabled, we knew was going to be a hit to Bulldog. Obviously, he's been great on the champ, but it just feels like he's been out of sorts so far this series. Game 1, getting hit by some arrows.
He's starting to here because he's rotating up. Dudu, slice and dicing. We'll be able to proc that Conqueror there as well as Rascal looking to go back as, oh no, he might be baited into this one. This is danger. As Cuz in position, and yeah, Rascal, I think he might just be dead. Let's see whether he can get himself out of the way of this one. The plans do go down. Flash is up and available as the flash comes forward, and despite Rascal flashing, he's still going to go down.
Yeah, really where things went in favor of DRX last game.
Yeah, Sponge looking for an angle here as Teddy throws out the arrow once again. Cuz going to flash it this time. And Sponge just going to say thank you very much for the leash. Andal doesn't find the grand entrance. And Bulldog, he's rotating over. Teddy going to slow him down as Pleta shows him the door. And Satab, with the inside track, going to be able to come up and try and deny some of these grubs. Pleta now going down low. There's the flash out. Andal going to be interrupted beautifully here as the Winter's Bite comes in. Another one for a stun. There's the on-horn brittle procs onto Bulldog. And they deny the Ram going back. And so that will keep Bulldog alive. And this battle for the grubs is epic. But nothing really decided. Leaper still in the bottom lane.
Potentially something they can capitalize on in the future, and they're looking for this dragon already. We'll see if Quantum Freaks move in a contest, but based on the fact Bulldog's recalling, I don't think so.
Yeah, not a lot of vision available around this area as well. They finally get the ward over the wall, but Teddy going to get spotted out. He's going to eat some honey fruit. And Pleta in position, Satep down here as well. There's a lot of DPS. They knock up the Braum. He's going to throw the door out, but he could be in a little bit of trouble. There's the curtains. They have been called. Blastcone's going to be here, though. Pleta going to be absolutely fine, and he just blocks them.
I mean, at the end of the day, I think it still went fine. Oh, there's an ult from Teddy.
Yeah, Bulldog is still going to get knocked up. That was a weird interaction as the arrow is going to be set up beautifully still. There's the quickness. Andal trying to hold them down as the Winter's Bite was able to connect. And Andal not going to get stunned up by the concussive blows just yet. Still looking a little bit worse for wear for both Bulldog, Andal, and Teddy. And Pleta is now Teddy trying to avoid some of these shots. The flash does come on through, but he gets himself out of range. They've been caught skirmishing quite a few times. Sponge has been able to keep things pretty even as far as that count is concerned. Already does have his Sundered Sky completed.
Yeah, now setting up the Herald here.
Andal might be in a little bit of trouble, though, as he does try and get his way out. The Stranglethorn's going to be utilized. And that does mean that the Herald not going to have that. Stranglethorn's up and available as now Bulldog looking to put on that pressure on the flank angle. Deadly Flourish is good onto Pleta.
But remember, Bulldog and Cuz both don't have flash. There is an Ornal available right now, and Ash Arrow coming up soon.
Yep, and Rascal very, very healthy here as well. Can certainly frontline for his team. Let's see what Quantum Freaks are able to do here as Sponge sort of caught in an awkward spot in the back of the pit right now. Is going to Heartbreaker out of there and won't have access to that ultimate. It looks like DRX are just going to give this one up and not risk it all for a Herald.
Good engagement doing now. An immediate Herald, pretty rare. We kind of see them held on for a while, but just sees a window to immediately capitalize and take that mid-tier 1.
Yeah.
Big pickup for the Quantum Freaks.
Able to move up towards a 3,000 gold lead as well. Make that 4 as this top lane outer turret is going to fall at the same time. And I think, like, my mind keeps going back to this third pick on red side Braum that really didn't quite work, as now Satap will just stand his ground, doesn't quite find the damage here onto Dudu. As Sponge makes his way in, that is going to be the Dominus now used. And Dudu does get rid of another minion wave as the arrow is going to sail on through. It's not going to go anywhere near as Dudu does move himself back.
Really, for them to push the pace of this game forward, you need to start denying vision around Baron, which they're moving to do.
Yeah.
And just threaten the possibility. Oh,
that's a big old flank angle for Rascal. The arrow is not going to connect as Rascal does blow the on horn. Andal not going to be able to interrupt it, and they get the knock up onto Cuz. Stranglethorns goes down, but Rascal able to keep himself healthy. Now the ulti comes through from Bulldog, and in goes Dudu. The massive crocodile will cut down the blacksmith. And Kwandong Freaks may have just found an angle towards the Baron. And even on the grand entrance, Bulldog dashing on in, looking for Satab, and the flash has to be employed to get himself out of there. Ulti not even invested. Oh, actually, yes, it was.
Ornaments, three of them coming out will help a little bit.
Yeah, Sponge not going to get locked up. Ooh, Cuz going to have to flash. That's a decent flash to have as well, as now Sponge in a little bit of trouble. Bulldog, these burst fires really starting to hurt as Rascal going to find the Bellows Breath. There's an ulti from Bulldog, just making sure that he keeps them low. Satab almost just dead incidentally, and Leap is able to lock that one up. Sponge also dead, and Bulldog still just frontlining into DRX. Extendo Beam not going to do it, but oh man.
Secure this, provide some cover for Bulldog.
As Teddy actually looking to try and push on over. There's the Ram coming out. They're looking for Andal. They get a flash as the quickness goes down. Frost Shot not going to be enough to slow down the Rakan, and he makes his way out of there here in game number 2. They'll have to do it again in game 3 without side selection. Kind of important, but still, this one is looking all but over. Grand Entrance going to connect onto Pleta there, who finally puts up the door, and Extendo Beam actually still going to cut through him. Of course, kind of ignores a lot of what Braum has to offer as Satab rotating over. It will be a 5v5. Let's see whether Rascal can find an angle. Sponge gets a stun onto Bulldog, and he just dies. Okay, Cuz going to be able to lock down that kill. Now Rascal trying to get himself out of there, and I think Bulldog's just a little bit too fast. The curtains are being called, and I think they are very realistically named in this particular game, as Bulldog does eventually go down, but he's traded for 3.
That's when you know you're too far behind. I think it was the correct play from DRX, but they just didn't have the damage to pierce Bulldog, and they also just got one shot by Cuz's ult there. The damage nuked Sponge, so unfortunately too little too late for DRX. Their base is being threatened now. There's not much they can do to defend. It looks like it might just be going to game 3.
It's looking like it. 2 inhibitors at least will be going down in unison here as Teddy looking to clean up. Bulldog max level right now.
I mean, both of them 4 items now. These 80 carries are so strong. Cuz as well.
Yeah, absolute monsters. Cuz picking up a Void Staff as item number 3, now has a full Morellonomicon done. And Sponge just fishing for these little stuns. Not quite able to find them. Dudu on a flank angle here. And you're afforded this, just has free entry into the enemy base. Is Pleta going to get hit by that extendo? Looked like he was kind of out of range. Doesn't really matter too much. Lord Dom's now completed for Teddy. 4 items for the Ashe. Is it going to matter? That is the real question, as Arrow is just going to sail by, not quite with the accuracy that he had in game number 1 in this game. Sometimes you just got to hope that they're going to connect, as now Andal looks for that angle. Finds the knock up as the Ram does come down. Good double onto Bulldog and Cuz, but do they have enough? The Stranglethorns come through, and Dudu, he has the Dominus, and he's looking for Teddy. Teddy's still able to do a fair bit of work here, but the Ornn, it's going to go down first, and now it's the Bulldog show. They take down Satab, and Kwandong Freaks, I think they're done with game number 2, and it's going to be the decider between them and DRX in game number 3. A much better look than the team that is still vying for that last spot in the playoffs. Kwandong Freaks not going to go down without a fight here in this one, although they are going to leave DRX's base for now, even though it is kind of just in tatters.
Yeah, pushing in. They want to make something happen now.
Yeah, Andal's going to get taken down to about half health here, as Leaper could be in a little bit of trouble, but he calls the curtains, and in comes Bulldog. The flash out from Teddy is decent, but he is eviscerated by the Stranglethorns. Bulldog now should be able to take down Sponge, who does look for a bit of a reset, but this is all she wrote here for game number 2. Kwandong Freaks just take them down. Rascal will be chased out by Leaper here momentarily, but I think the base is what we need to be looking at. as Leaper doesn't have his flash, so can't actually get over the wall. And yeah, Captive Audience goes into the brush. That's going to give some vision. And Rascal will be taken down. The Nexus will follow suit. 14-3. Kwangdong Freaks will smash them here in game number 2. 35 minutes, and DRX now get to have one last shot at redemption in game number 3. Exactly right. Of course, it doesn't matter about game score, so even dropping a game in this series, it's not consequential at all to Kwangdong Freaks. It's all about match score. They will always have a better game score than BNK, no matter what BNK does. And therefore, as long as they equalize on that match score, things should be okay. A victory in